This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and we're recording on Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to the many dads out there, and those of you who are not dads but have dads, remember to say happy Father's Day to your dads. This is a belated reminder. Of course, you'll be watching this the next day, so maybe not the greatest reminder ever filmed, but just a shout out to the dads out there. So, what are we doing? We are playing Toski Adventures, NAYA Toski Adventures. If there's something that the NAYA color combination is very good at, it's spewing a ton of creatures onto the board, and then once you have a ton of creatures, what do you do with them? Well, Toski, the Bearer of Secrets, means that whenever a creature hits an opponent, you get to draw a card. That can be a lot of card draw. The indestructibility is very, very fun. The can't be countered drives the control decks mad. When you get ahead on board, the Toski really takes off into a ton of value. Hanging out with that value is Showdown of the Scalds. Being able to go 4 cards deep is fun, but also the +1/+1 counters mean that your creatures aren't outscaled in the late game by somebody who would do bigger things. You can put a bunch of +1/+1 counters on Toski and make it into a tank of a squirrel. The other cards in the deck are mainly made to get creatures on the battlefield, but also be spells while being creatures, because Adventure is a really silly mechanic. And while a deck that is almost completely creatures shouldn't normally be able to interact, when you have Giant Killer killing large creatures and Bone Crusher Giant killing small creatures, you actually interact all the time. On top of that, we can now interact with what's in the hand, like an Emergent Ultimatum using Elite Spellbinder. This card is the Strixhaven addition to the deck, the Paulo Vitor Damatorosa card, as he is the theme of the art, and getting to go into the opponent's hand and take away their sweeper or their ultimatum or other big effect is really just the last little thing this deck needed to be able to do, as it no longer is completely victim to getting its board swept. Clarion Spirit is a very sweet card, as using both sides of the adventure cards means that you can usually fill out your curve very well. You have a lot of options, so you get to make a bunch of 1/1 spirits. If a bunch of 1/1 flyers doesn't do much for you, consider the fact that these flyers, once combined with Toski, all draw cards, and maybe that'll get you excited about what the card can do. Jespera Sentinel helps produce mana quickly, so that is the non-adventure side of the deck, and of course, you know Edgewalling Keeper. You don't need a lot more from that. This deck has been making a kind of resurgence in Best of One. People think it is even to favored against Emergent Ultimatum because of Elite Spellbinder, and it's very strong against all the aggro decks of the field. Mono White and Mono Red, in their traditional configurations, have a really hard time dealing with all these creatures, as well as the 1/1s that the Clarion Spirit pumps out. So if we hit the right side of the meta, I want to see how this deck does in Best of 3, or Best of 1. I'm sorry, I'm the one. Best of 1, of course. And I want to see how this deck does there, because quite frankly, it sounds like those are the matchups we need to win in Best of 1, but this deck is rarely played in Best of 1. So let's see where it shows up and how it ranks up in the meta, and let's get right to it. Now, I am filming on Father's Day. I do have a dad. I have plans with that dad. We're going to have some barbecue. So I've got a limited amount of time. I can't be spending too much more of it on an intro. So let's dive in and let the nonsense begin. Ooh, Danny. Danny is ranked number 16. Let's go, Danny. Green, but then no white. This hand is awkward. Very awkward. But it's on the play. There are so many bad draws, though. I guess I have to mulligan it. It's one of those I'm really tempted to gamble on. I guess we'll try this. It's got the colors. It's got the Spellbinder and the Beast and Showdown to rebuild. So I'm going to put away one of the Spellbinders, and we'll get to work. Do you remember 1 mana 1/1, 3 mana 5/5 in one card? All right, how does one get to number 16? Probably playing Winota. All right, so on turn 2, we can play this Giant Killer. We can also save it to hit the Winota. And we can also defend against the dog or be aggressive. And I think being aggressive makes sense on the play. I also feel like we just want to get our cards on the board. Yeah, with Selfless Savior, we may as well play the Giant Killer, because I don't know how or when I'm going to kill it if I don't draw a Bone Crusher Giant, which is mana intensive anyway. So actually getting to shoot down a Winota seems really unlikely. Okay, we're life gain. Not Winota anyway. Glad we played the killer. Glad we drew another? We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Probably want to get in over the top with the Spellbinder, although playing Lovestruck Beast is pretty good too. This sequencing is always difficult for me. I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to do, but we have so many white cards and only one green. We don't want to bottleneck our white mana, so let's make sure we play a white card here. All right, they've got 2 lands and 1,000,000 useful cards. Oof. Let's see. Sky Maul is a pain, and Giant Killer doesn't solve it, but the Tap Giant does. Heliod is the combo piece with the Daxos, where everything just starts getting huge. But it forces them to take a turn off to play it. I think I actually take the Aspirant. That thing grows creatures for free every turn, and they can play it with their current mana. I want to take that option away. If they're forced to only play an Alseid next turn, that's really good for us. So do they rip the land? Does the 16th ranked player on the Mythic ladder know how to rip land? They're saying, not like this. Not like this. All right, Spellbinder. We can start chipping away. Get some damage in. We did not rip the land, so we're still waiting to play our Showdown of the Scalds. But we're doing better than they are. We gotta get them to sacrifice that dog. They found the land. This is probably Heliod. And let the nonsense begin. Thick and indestructible. Heliod is a house. Awkward, but we can tap something with the Giant Killer, and next turn we'll have mana. So this isn't that bad. We don't want to attack with the 5/5 here, I don't think. Yeah, they can just gang block it or block it with the Heliod. If I tapped the Heliod was one of the ways I was looking at the situation. Using the chop down of the Giant Killer isn't good because of the dog. This is going to get ugly fast. So we need to get Showdown going. So do they go for Sky Maul? Do they go for Lurrus? Lurrus is in the house. Where do they want to locate a counter? On the Lurrus? Okay. I mean, I'm never going to get to chop it down, so it doesn't matter much. Tap the indestructible thing. Oof. None of it's gonna work though. It can protect against. It can prevent the prevention of damage if we get the Alseid to sack to protect something, but there's still a dog. We can't seem to beat that dog. I feel like I need to use the Spellbinder as mana. No, I'm not going to block with the Giant Killer. I'll use the Giant Killer for mana. But is it worth it to get 3 damage in? I think so. I mean, we're not going to win unless we attack our opponent a lot. They're going to get to play the Sky Maul and get in big time with something. So let's reveal some cards that really help. Let's do the powerful things. Okay, we're gonna miss land. 1 red, 1 red. I think another green is in order, but I'm not positive. We don't have any use for it this turn, sadly. I guess we only have 1 green card to play, and it's Toski, so I'll play it on red. We need to get the Clarion Spirit cooking for sure. Oh no! No! Not like this. Really? Everything? Did it really? Oh, they're feeling juicy. They're feeling clever and fine. Looks like they plan to sack the Savior anyway, because they're not putting counters on it, so that at least gives us something to block with the Lovestruck Beast where we don't lose the Beast. Alright, they can add another +1/+1 counter also by sacking the Savior. But I think we block here. And I think we block here. Take 10. And now we're definitely in trouble. Like, ugh. This game's been over since the Selfless Savior. This dog has ruined everything. So, how do we get back in it? Is there a way? Is there any way? We'll probably play this Toski. And put a counter where? I guess the bigger the beast, the more likely it can block something without dying. Elite Spellbinder is going to probably just get wrecked. All right, we're trying. We're trying. Can they just kill me in the air? Yeah, they can, right? Let's see. They put Sky Maul on Heliod. That's 7. They attack with Heliod. That's a trigger. That's 8. They sacrifice Alseid. Well, it would have to be protection from white. That's why you can't do it. That's why you can't do it, because then the Sky Maul would fall off. So how can you get counters on it, then give protection from white without dropping the Sky Maul? You can't. So I guess I'm not dead to an Alseid activation just yet. Should have taxed the Heliod, I suppose, if I could go back in time. So, what do we have? We have 5 blockers. So if they can get everything to 9, they win. Either way, we're probably throwing our whole team under the bus. Okay. Rough. It's pretty rough. Yeah. Take 5. We could go to 1 here, but then we die if they sack the bounty and just put a counter on something. They're just going to replay this, right? So that's not really a good use of a block. Because they're going to sacrifice it, gain a life, put a counter somewhere else. Okay. Our opponent ended up with more lands than us after missing their 3rd land drop. We were stuck on 3 longer than they were stuck on 2, even though they missed land drop number 3. They drew 6 lands in a row, fixed their mana problems. Four lands in a row, my bad. Okay, draw 1/1. That's something. That is something. We have to attack with the Toski. Can we afford to play another showdown? We need how many blockers? 7-ish. So this is 1. This is 2. This is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think it's going to get there, guys. I don't think it's going to get there. The Toski is going to get blocked no matter what. Let's keep building up the beast so it can at least block some things and live. Needed more Clarion Spirits for sure. Don't forget the lifelink. They did forget the lifelink. Yeah, 5 straight lands to make sure that they got to play their cards. Crazy. They did GG me, so let's see if they try to make their Lurrus unblockable and fail. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Care to try again? #16th ranked Mythic, by the way. Just knocked off their own Sky Maul. And broke their brain trying to put a counter on a creature with protection from white. Not attacking with some creatures. Crazy. Alright. So this has pro white, so it has to be a green thing in front of it. Let's keep the mana, throw away the 4/3. It's not useful. Token can block you. 10/10 can either block the 5/5 or the 7-something. And then we got a Giant Killer, a Sentinel, a Clarion Spirit. We can just take the 5, but they can sacrifice this, put the counter on it, and kill us. So we don't want that. And there's our blocks. Okay, showdown. There's a mana. There's a spirit. To make more spirits. Let's do this. I'm in a little bit of danger of not having a spell to play next turn, but this would have to attack anyway, and this has to block anyway, so whatever. But now we're just chumping, right? So I'm gonna concede. I don't really want to go through it for another turn. Having the 2 spirits could stabilize, but we're going to have to chump them away. So, Rogues. I think Rogues is an interesting matchup for the deck. It can lose. A lot of it is who's on the play, which we are not. So this is pretty bad. Let's see how it goes. At least have a 1/1 to fight your 1/1. Yeah. When I played this deck for the qualifier event, I got knocked out by Rogues. It was very sad. All right. We got some red here. We got our Bone Crusher Giant to get rid of this Enforcer, but one of the questions is, right now, is there another Enforcer? They're holding priority with a Fabled Passage, so we can't see it. I offer you a trade. You get Dead Human. I get Dead Enforcer. Okay, they'll sacrifice this on end step. If they don't have mana. So we'll get rid of the priority. Wait for it. Timing is everything with Rogues. Alright, no second Enforcer. And some awkward tap-landiness tap lands. But, so, if you're playing Rogues, especially like on the draw, I can't see their whole hand, but I'm going to make some assumptions. I think that you want to crack Fabled Passage on turn 1. I don't think it's worth it to play on the draw a 1-mana 1/1 on 1 and then do nothing on turn 2. I think that's what you should do. You don't have to take my word for it, like, forever. I can't see their hand. I can't be positive. But. Speaking of being unable to see their hand, Let's get in there. Let's have a look. Let's have a little looky look. Oh crap. All right, 2 cards in the graveyard. Oh crap. This is gonna cost you a lot. 3 drown in the frickin' locks. Game on. Game on. I'm blocking this thing. I'm blocking. I don't care. I'm not taking mills. So they can counter kill this, or this. They can't stop Toski and they can't stop Showdown. Do we want another red or another white? Or another green? What's the land drop color? Right now it could be anything, I think. We'll see if we can get them to drown a 1/1. No! Cringe. How do they top deck it? How do they top deck it? And a land. Deck stacking. It's clearly the answer. Clearly they have stacked their deck. And now they have to decide whether or not to mill me and give me a card. Ah, okay. So they can counter everything but this. I'm gonna punish them for not milling me. You wouldn't have to let me draw 4 cards if you let me draw 1. Yeah, yeah, you're impressed, aren't you? You gonna counter that? They feel like they have to use their mana, so they're gonna kill the giant killer. All right, another land. Now they get Lurrus, and they have Drown in the lockup, and they have 4 cards in our graveyard. And now they're attacking. Okay. They bail on the plan. Well, that's good, because they can't destroy the Toski, and we can put counters on it. So we have a Bone Crusher Giant in exile that we want to play. Our opponent has a Drown in the lock. They can counter either the Bone Crusher Giant or the Clarion Spirit. Do we want to hold back the Clarion Spirit and try to play both sides of the Bone Crusher? Every spell we cast puts a counter on Toski, which is fun. I think they really do want to stop this card. I think that they'll counter it. If they do, we can have a 5/5 or something bigger. All right. Resolves. What's the plan, rogue man? Or woman. It just rhymed and I wanted to do it. Triple squirrel action. You know, rogues is kind of hard to play, but it's really hard to play against it, which I think is part of the, like, mega tilt of the deck. Like, there's just not many good ways to play against rogues either. You have to solve it every time. All right, Lurrus is in the house. We top another land. Life is going to be hard. We do get to put counters on things right now, though. We don't want to attack with Clarion Spirit. But I want to be able to get frisky with this token. That sounded something. Sus. It sounded sus. You, and you, and you. Red zone. If the opponent wants to block with Thieves Guild Enforcer, bring it back every turn, at least they're not doing that with Wind Robber. Lurrus only gets one thing back. All right, that's going to draw us a card. Make it a 1-drop. Make it another land. Unreal. Unreal. We has had an unfortunate series of draw steps since the showdown. But there's got to be some good stuff coming, right? Well, they might just mill the good stuff. Of course they found Crab. And of course they found Passage. Those were the top 2 cards of their deck. They get stapled onto each other at all times, okay? At all times. I think we're dead. I don't think we got this. We can't stop the Lurrus. We don't even have spells to play. Although we might draw some. We don't have Showdown anymore. So we need everything to hit. Lurrus, you getting involved, or are we taking damage? How about that Crab? They have removal spells. And it looks like they plan to use them. But if they fire off both of the drowns, they're running on empty. But I guess what they don't know is that we're running on empty. We're really running on empty. We have double Toski in hand, 3 lands. A Clarion Spirit that hopefully we get to trigger here. I might have to Legend Rule my Toski if we draw another land off the top. Kill a token. Drop them to 9. Draw a card. Sentinel's okay. You gonna counter that? Nope. Coward. Come here, Gigantha. We're doing things the hard way today. They let me get 2 spirits, then killed a Clarion Spirit. That's an oops. All right, they could tap out for this into the story. Then they die. Or at least really close. The Lurrus is 3 life. Yeah, they wouldn't be dead. Alright, they lull Mage a Toski. That's actually great, right? It actually makes our hand a little better. And they're getting frisky. Oh, come on. Come on, you coward. Alright. Toski. Should I have played this one first? I should have, right? I should have. Going wide is how we win, and I didn't do it. Card. Elite. Well, we already exiled their hand. Not the greatest. So Gigantha? Elk? Elk Master? Gotta block that Toski. 18 cards to go. 18 and shrinking. They must have drawn a land. No! Why? Why Fabled Passage? Why? You frickin'... Makes me so angry. Can you tell? Can you tell it makes me unhappy? Into the story. All right, cool. Glad you did that when you did it, so I can spellbind you. But you have 3 blockers and 8 life. Another Toski. We only have 11 cards, guys. 11 cards. So what can we draw that actually wins the game? We're gonna get in a little bit of damage, maybe. This Lurrus might have to block. But I don't think... I'm not sure that I get another turn. That's the problem. Are there any Bone Crushers left? There is a Bone Crusher left. So the Toski is super awkward because the opponent gets to block it with the Lurrus, so they gain some life, right? So we have to draw this Bone Crusher. Well, at least they're taking the greediest blocks available. Oh, come on. That's actually good. Card. 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 Crap. Ah! Squirrel, you are killing me. You are killing me today. Today's content has so far been terrible matchups on the draw. Can we change that? Like, we've literally had our worst 2 matchups in a row. Alright. We even have the Sentinel. This is awesome. This is broken. This is what we are supposed to do. Interesting. But will we draw land? That becomes the question now. Opponent has a Rimrock Knight. If they had a Frostbite, they would have used it. And there's the Bone Crush Stone Rain. Good choice of target. We do draw the land, though. So we're not done with you yet. Oh, Mono Red. Just when I think a deck could be a lost cause, we play against the Mono Red. We do not draw the land, though. Doesn't matter. Don't need to. Don't need to. Easy. Wait, I lost like... Alright, so I started today around 100, and I lost like 80, between 80 and 100 ranks for 2 losses. One of them was to the number 16th ranked player. And I get this win, I barely move up at all. Like 40? It's crazy. Okay, it makes sense. Alright, we're on the play again. Our hand isn't very good. It's actually pretty slow. We can go fetch white, play a spirit, play a giant. But I'm having a lot of trouble, like, just getting 3 lands in games in general. Like, we are stalling before we hit our 4th land drop every time. I don't think I'm supposed to mulligan it, but man, it's not that great. We'll see. It has the potential, you know, it has potential. A few 1-drops or a few lands, and we do really well. And there's a lot of that in the deck, but... Okay. Alright. Do we get this down? Paula would say you get your ramp card down, right? So let's go for it. Ephemia. Well, their hand is pretty awkward, too. I think if they had removal, we would have seen it. But I guess we'll find out. Usually they have a ton of removal in these decks. Mogi's Favor is also just a machine gun if given time. Well, there, they have to exile Luris. That's nice. So, black, no companion. So they're probably running Rankle and some of those cards. Alright, we're in on the Clarion Spirit plan. Caca. If this Sentinel dies, I'm in so much trouble. I've made a nice board, but man, can I not draw land. Draw any land, though, and we trigger Innkeeper, which is also just something they usually kill if they can. Alright, all the Timurit calling the dead here. There's a Mire's Grasp. There's a Demonic Embrace. They want to trade off some creatures. Who's going to win the value game? I think I am. So, well, let's make some trades. If they are taking them. I'm trading. Open for business over here. They do have a nice zombie machine. All right, let's play this. Draw a land. Okay, we drew a land. We don't have another play for our turn, but you got to do it somehow, right? I guess I'm going to hold back and try to trade some more. But yeah, their engine is a rollin'. If we get to untap with our Sentinel, we can play Showdown. Try to get more land that way, too. 1 to the top, 3 to the bottom. Casual Scry. Casual Mega Scry off the Timrite Calls the Dead. Yeah, they have to start killing my things somewhere, and they're going to start with a 4-mana Baleful Mastery on the Beast, wow. So that they can get frisky with zombies. Let's trade off the tokens, keep the token generators. Hey, that's a land. I guess we want more white. Stomp the Ephemia. They have a lot of mana, so the elite spellbinders aren't looking too hot to me. So I'd rather play out cards like this that draw me cards. And away we go. Three to the top, 1 to the bottom. Oh man. Oh boy. I bet it's a lot of ways to kill things. And, you know, Luris. But they've exiled that Myers Grasp we saw earlier. Okay, the rest of their engine is coming together. They found the favor. Oh no. Oh no. Like I said, that card is a machine gun. So. Oh. I feel like we're supposed to get Showdown going, but we can play both Spellbinders, and maybe we need to do that while there are still cards in their hand to take. I still can win a long game, but our opponent now is drawing a ton of cards and making a lot of... It does cost them... They've got Luris. We could hit a Bone Crusher Giant with this, but if we don't hit a 2 or a 1 drop, we don't trigger our spirits, which is so bad. Alright, so we're gonna go double Apollos here. At least make some of these things harder to cast. But yeah, the opponent, their value engine is about to really take off. So this Showdown has to be good. Real good. No! Yeah, they did Scry to the top. It should be a good card, right? We need a Toski. A Toski before all of these creatures are dead. Why are they killing the Spellbinders and not the Clarion Spirits is what I want to know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. You know, they have that Deadweight in exile that they could cast. If they're going to pay 3 mana. Not a Toski. What the hell, man? What the hell? Alright, this deck has treated me horribly, but here is a 1-2-3 curve. We're on the draw. On the draw. Alright, I'll give it a try. Blue-white, huh? Blue-white? Nobody plays that. Esper. Vanishing Verse. No Innkeeper. Rip. We'll see if our opponent's up for killing absolutely everything we play. They probably are. Doom Foretold decks can often do that. Okay, not yet. No plays this turn, and oh boy! So Test of Talents is a dead card. We don't care about that. Extinction Event's really nasty. Doom Foretold we can play through. Kind of. Let's take the event. They don't have anything to sack, like, to the Doom Foretold yet. Like, they didn't get any little permanents on the board. And they don't have the land. Okay, this is probably going to turn into a bloodbath. I think we just attack with a lot of creatures. And play a lot of creatures. Pressure, pressure, pressure. See if they find another extinction event. Oh, Doomscar. Nice. I mean, I guess if you're going to top deck a card and foretell it and nail it, like, that's the card. Sentinel? Okay, still stuck on lands, giving us a chance. We're not going to cast the Heart's Desire because of the Test of Talents. Guess let's grab some Heartless Act protection for the Innkeeper. Should have made a mana first. This is an oops. Could have played this Bone Crusher Giant on the adventure side, but now they're tapped out, so we'll go here. Get some Heart's Desire protection for the Beast. Heart's Desire? No, Heartless Act. Beast can't attack, though, until we find another 1/1, which is unfortunate. Sort of my own doing. Hey, 1/1, located. Cool. They put up quite the fight for being stuck on land. Let's see if they can keep it up. Nope. It's rough. But I needed a win. I really needed a win. And here we go. Mono red. Let's see if mono red can kick me to the curb. 2 Bone Crusher Giants is okay. Of course, Annex is a beating on the play. Let's see if they can kill the Sentinel. Easy. So, turn 3 Annex. Turn 3 Annex. Easy. Yep. Just can't stop them. So now we gotta shut down the cleave. Now we got to shut down the cleave. Torbran or Rimrock Knight. Alright. Definitely Torbran. And no cleave yet. You gonna offer that trade? Or are you gonna hide? Trade offered. Trade accepted. They can use the Rimrock Knight to get 2 tokens. I think that's a pretty good play. 1 more token than normal anyway. Oh, hello. Let's go. Big guy. That's what I'm talking about. The classic mono red Bane. Yeah, Fireblade Charger versus Lovestruck Beast. We are not the same. Alright, they're setting up for this Torbran, which I can't kill right now. I can take out the Charger, or I can take out the Rimrock Knight, though. That's pretty good. I think I just want to play this and the other giant, though. Trigger, trigger. I can turn that off. I think I want the double draw and the tapper. Just more stuff on board. Now, do we want aggression? If they draw the land for the Torbran... No, we're the control right now. We're drawing a lot of cards. Let's keep it going. Alright, they find it. They curve into 6-mana Torbran, like a champion should. And everything attacks. Total relentless aggression, no fear. So, this can block one of these without dying. Nothing's blocking the charger, because then they can lightning bolt whatever they want. This can trade over here, and this can trade here, and we take 6. I don't want to trade my edge walls yet. They're going to keep me in this game. Is it worth stomping out a 1/1? I don't think so. I think we just play this and draw 2, and we'll draw something else. Like land. You just want to get all those cards from your Edgewall Innkeepers while the getting's good. We found a Toski. Don't cleave me, baby. No attacks. Probably a land. Probably a land. And we want to hold up the tapper. Let's play the Toski. Think we send these two now. The opponent can trade the charger. Well, we can tap the charger actually if we want to. And it can't really attack. It can attack next turn, but Toski blocks it. Draw, draw. Play a little blocker. A little blocky card. Mono Red hates this matchup. Their best chance is to be on the play with Annex into Embercleave, which, and even then, like they're vulnerable to Giant Killer. And they still have to cut through Lovestruck Beast, which can be very hard. Pass turn again. All right. Clarion Spirit. Elite Spellbindy. Frostbite. Okay, let's tap you. And the opponent's going to scoop that up, because now their Torbran is forced to block one of the bigger creatures and die. We can attack with everything, get a bunch in, draw a million. Yep. We fight for a positive win rate. I don't like sending you guys out with a video without a positive win rate. I like playing winners. I like providing winning lists. I think this deck has what it takes. I think I just had a really rough start to the day. Bad matchups, bad positions, but it is what it is. You just gotta focus, recover, get the next one. This hand is okay. It kind of, it really depends how good Giant Killer is in the matchup. Ooh, okay. So, we play the Spirit. We play the Killer. And we are ready for battle. This has to be Winota, right? Pupper's Tribal. Professor of Simblablas. They're not going to get an exile trigger, so they're not attacking. That's a draw. How do we cast 2 spells this turn? Heart's Desire, Stomp. Stomp you. That way we can attack with Clarion Spirit. Get some aggression into this game. One thing about Winota and one thing about Blade Historian, you've heard me say it a lot of times this season, they do require the opponent to be attacking to be effective. So if you put them in positions where they'd much rather block, those cards lose so much of their effectiveness. Oh, it looks like we have sad, lonely Clarion Spirit here. And no attacks. How do we play 2 spells this turn? Our opponent does not have a Selfless Savior, so Giant Killer could tag Winota. But do we care? I said Selfless, like Giant Killer, yeah. What is it? Chop Down. Chop Down. Chop Down. We could also play Lovestruck Beast and play the Sentinel. And if the opponent triggers the Winota a bunch, it's not that big of a deal. Maybe we do attack with the Clarion Spirit, but if we do that, we want to make a creature first. I don't know. This one is tricky, right? Like, everything about this is pretty tricky. Offer trades because they don't want them. They don't want this trade. Because then they're down creatures for their offensive plays. Look at how wide this frickin' board is. This is why you play the deck. There was a green-white token deck in Guilds of Ravnica that was all about just generating tons of tokens. This is the tokens deck of the format. Which is why I chose it for the attack with 45 creature quest. Academic probation. Oh, yeah, you're in pretty rough shape. You're in pretty rough shape. Showdown. Or we hold up Giant Killer. It seems like if we hit a Winota with this, we can't lose, but also if the opponent attacks a bunch and we have blockers, who cares? So on the ground, we're not attacking with this. We can attack with this. We can attack with these. The only bad trade is for the 2/2. And we don't want to attack with this because we don't want to trade it with the 2/1. Let's start with aggression and then decide. So, in the position that we're in, if we hold up Giant Killer, we probably can't lose. The opponent eventually has to do some blocking, or they're just going to die. Not only that, if we don't play Chop Down, then we can tap something with Giant Killer, and then untap, tap something with Giant Killer, and attack with more things. It's pretty brutal. And the opponent fell to 6, so now we've got them in the hard lock. Their only way out isn't going to stick unless they play a Selfless Savior. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? It's been that kind of day, everybody. All right, so what do? We got to tap something. They have a Savior, so they can protect. So what are we tapping? What do we... I guess we tap the Flyer. So they have to win on this attack. And they don't have a Kenrith to give everything trample. Three triggers. Spellbinder. I know, I could cast this in response, but I'd have to tap too many creatures. I'd have to tap my whole board. Historian, no problem. Spellbinder number 2, no problem. Alright, how do we win? We need enough creatures to attack back for victory. The Giant Killer will tap something, so they'll have 2 blockers. They'll block here, they'll block here. So we need 6 returning attackers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need our whole board. Is this attack lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. This attack is very lethal. Very, very lethal. And we don't have good blocks because our opponent just really freaking pulled it off. They pulled it off is what they did. I'm so upset. Like, this dog has me so upset. Land Savior Winota when holding up Giant Killer. What a clown. All right. It's been a rough day. I don't think we can win no matter what. I think we've lost, to be clear. So I don't think this matters too much. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. It'll have to do. Rope went to 0, so let's get to it. All right, 2 blockers. Tap 1, they block here, they block here, they take 4. We needed a stomp. We didn't draw one. I don't think there's any way to get there. And there's no way to defend. Bad beats, man. What a load of crap. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and it wasn't exactly what I was looking for from the deck today, and it's hard to, like, kind of dispel exactly what the issue is. Let's grab the stats power, but untap.gg. 3 and 4, as if you watched the last game, you knew we were battling for that plus 50% win rate. We didn't quite get there. We actually won some games on the draw, which is pretty funny. Let's see. The mono white life gain matchup, I think, is pretty terrible because they do a lot of what we do, but they do it better, in my opinion. And Selfless Savior is a huge problem for the deck. There's no question that you can't really beat. You have to find a way around that card, and there really isn't one if the opponent combines it with a Luris, or if they play it at exactly the right time, like our Winota opponent did. So I think I got a weird combination of bad matchups and my opponent's doing a little bit better than I did today. And I think the deck is better than it showed, but I don't really have time for a reshoot. As I talked about in the intro, I'm going to go hang out with my dad because it's Father's Day. And a little peek behind the curtain, I do put a lot of time and pride into what I bring to you. I try to bring you decks that work. It's something I wouldn't be satisfied with my own channel if I didn't do that a decent amount of the time. And normally if I have a sub 500 deck and the content isn't completely mind-blowing, I do a total reshoot and scrap the footage, or I grab a different deck, or I press on until I feel like have games that show what the deck does. Let's be honest, people say they want to see the losses, but that's a very rare person. Most people want to see the deck do what the deck does, what makes it unique and interesting, because no deck is really interesting when it loses very much. In fact, it's a pretty rare bird for a competitive deck to be interesting when it's losing. You know what I mean? So I think that when you look at the YouTube numbers, it really supports that, even though a vocal minority will say that they want to see all the games. They don't. They just say that. They don't really want that. And today, I don't know. Some of the losses were interesting, so I would definitely keep like the Winota game where they played the dog right on time because it was a bit of a heartbreaker. The Rogue game is a tough one because I started cutting Rogue losses from my videos a long time ago because I have data that shows people literally turn off the video when Rogue starts winning. Like they're just off it, whatever it is, doesn't matter. So we'll see if that's the way that it plays out again today. But like I said, I'm off to spend time with my dad for Father's Day, so no time for a reshoot today. I do hope that you enjoyed the content. I do think you should try the deck. I think it's very fun, and I think 4 copies of Toski and 4 copies of Showdown of the Skalds will be a part of the meta going forward, especially after rotation. While the adventure package will leave, I think some combination of cards like this, probably with Magda also involved, and maybe other new cheap creatures that will come along, will be a player in the future. So thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Happy Father's Day. You're cool.